Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're taking a closer look at the latest family uploads from Whitney Bates, Lydia Bates, and Carlin Stewart because fans immediately noticed how different the emotional tone behind each post felt. Even though all three women shared sweet moments with their children, every carousel told a completely different story about motherhood, family life, and the stage they're currently in. In this video, we're breaking down why Whitney's post felt so reflective and emotional as a mom of 6, why Lydia's soft outdoor photos with Ryker and Kaia gave followers such an intimate glimpse into her quiet family life, and how Carlin once again blended family moments with the modern lifestyle aesthetic she's become known for online. Let's get into the photos, the captions, the subtle details fans picked up on, and why these uploads felt much more personal and emotionally revealing than the typical polished family content we usually see online. Whitney Bates immediately drew attention with a Mother's Day tribute that felt far more emotional than a typical family post. In her caption, Whitney wrote, "Never would have dreamed I'd be a mom to 6 precious kids, but they are truly the best part of me. Motherhood has given me some of the sweetest memories and most meaningful years, and I'll never take for granted the time I've been given to love and raise these babies." The wording instantly established the emotional tone for the entire carousel. Rather than focusing on the chaos or challenges of raising a large family, Whitney centered the post around gratitude, fulfillment, and the emotional meaning motherhood has brought into her life. The result was a carousel that felt warm and personal from beginning to end, especially because nearly every photo highlighted natural moments with Bradley, Jaden, Casey, Chloe, Lily, and Ella. The structure of Whitney's carousel also felt intentional because it almost worked like a visual timeline of motherhood. The opening hospital photo of Whitney holding a newborn immediately became the emotional anchor of the entire upload. From there, the carousel moved through different stages of family life, including casual selfies with her daughters, outdoor family moments, and full group shots with all 6 children together. Each child seemed to represent a different phase of motherhood within the post itself. Bradley and Jaden appeared older, more independent, and energetic, while Casey and Chloe brought a softer, playful dynamic to many of the family interactions. Meanwhile, Lily and Ella became the emotional center of the carousel because Whitney's interactions with them felt especially nurturing and tender throughout the photos. Interestingly, Zade Bates was never really positioned as the focus of Whitney's upload, even though he appeared in some of the family pictures. The post was clearly designed around Whitney's identity as a mother, rather than the couple's relationship as husband and wife. That choice made the tribute feel much more sincere and emotionally grounded compared to Mother's Day posts that shift heavily into romantic couple content. Whitney seemed far more interested in showing the life she has built with her children than creating a polished family brand moment. Even the pacing of the carousel made the upload feel reflective, almost like she was quietly looking back on years of motherhood through a series of memories rather than posting for social media engagement alone. While Whitney's post focused on gratitude and the emotional weight of raising a large family, Lydia Bates took a much softer and quieter approach. Lydia's carousel immediately stood out because of how peaceful and understated the entire upload felt from start to finish. Her caption was incredibly short, simply reading, "Loving on you is my favorite." However, the simplicity of that sentence ended up shaping the entire emotional atmosphere of the post. Instead of over-explaining motherhood or turning the upload into a dramatic tribute, Lydia let the photos themselves tell the story through small interactions with Ryker and Kaia. Nearly every image in Lydia's carousel was taken outdoors in a wide open field surrounded by tall trees and soft natural sunlight. The setting played a major role in creating the calm, nostalgic tone that ran throughout the entire post. In several slides, Lydia sat on a white blanket holding both children close while smiling naturally at them instead of directly posing for the camera. Other images showed her walking hand in hand with Ryker beneath the trees while carrying Kaia in her arms. One particularly touching moment captured Ryker handing Lydia a small flower while she held Kaia. Even though it was such a tiny interaction, it instantly made the carousel feel more authentic and emotionally personal than heavily curated influencer family content. Kaia also brought a completely different energy to the upload compared to Ryker. Many of her moments with Lydia focused on physical closeness and affection, including photos where Lydia lifted her into the air, hugged her tightly, or smiled directly at her face-to-face. Because Kaia is still so young, her presence naturally gave the entire carousel a softer and more nurturing emotional tone. The styling choices also reinforced that atmosphere perfectly. Lydia wore a cream floral dress with soft pink details that matched Kaia's pastel pink outfit, while Ryker's neutral white clothing blended effortlessly into the peaceful outdoor setting. Together, the soft color palette and natural lighting made the carousel feel almost like a spring memory book rather than social media content designed for performance. Another thing that made Lydia's uploads stand out was the complete lack of obvious branding energy. There were no dramatic captions, no product placement, and no heavily staged influencer moments. Instead, the carousel felt intentionally imperfect in the best possible way. Ryker and Kaia often looked more interested in exploring the grass and moving around freely than posing for a perfect family portrait. Those small, unfiltered moments ended up becoming the strongest part of the entire upload because they made the post feel emotionally real and relatable. Rather than presenting motherhood as polished content, Lydia presented it as quiet, affectionate, and deeply grounding. Carlin Stewart, however, brought a completely different energy than both Whitney and Lydia. While Whitney felt reflective and Lydia felt dreamy, Carlin's carousel leaned heavily into modern motherhood aesthetics with a much more playful visual style. Her caption simply read, "Home is this. Happy Mother's Day." Even though the wording was short, it became the emotional theme for the entire post with Layla, Zade, and Navy. Carlin clearly relied on visuals more than words to tell the story, and the result looked almost like an editorial motherhood photo shoot while still feeling warm and candid at the same time. Most of Carlin's carousel was photographed outside on the lawn of their home with coordinated white and cream tones running through nearly every frame. In several photos, Carlin lay in the grass while lifting Navy into the air as Layla and Zade played around her. Layla appeared to be the most camera-aware child in the set because she frequently smiled directly toward the camera with a level of confidence that stood out immediately. Zade, meanwhile, brought much more movement and energy to the carousel, making several of the photos feel playful and slightly chaotic in a way that kept the upload from feeling overly polished. Navy naturally became the emotional centerpiece of the carousel because so many of Carlin's interactions centered around her as the youngest child. Just like Whitney and Lydia, Evan Stewart was mostly absent as the emotional focus of Carlin's upload. The carousel centered almost entirely around Carlin's connection with her children and the emotional meaning motherhood currently holds in her life. Even the phrase "home is this" felt less like a reference to a physical house and more like a statement about where Carlin emotionally feels most grounded. At the same time, the post also reflected how much her online identity has evolved over the years into a mix of family intimacy and curated lifestyle content. Even though the visuals were clearly well-planned and aesthetically cohesive, the interactions between Carlin, Layla, Zade, and Navy still made the carousel feel warm and relatable rather than overly commercial. In the end, all three Mother's Day uploads revealed very different versions of motherhood within the Bates family. Whitney Bates presented motherhood as a long emotional journey filled with gratitude, growth, and family memories. Lydia Bates leaned into a much softer and more intimate version of motherhood that felt peaceful, emotionally grounded, and deeply personal through her moments with Ryker and Kaia. Meanwhile, Carlin Stewart combined motherhood with the modern lifestyle aesthetic that now defines much of her social media presence alongside Layla, Zade, and Navy. Despite their completely different styles, all three women showed the same thing at the core of their posts. Motherhood is no longer just one part of their online identity. It has become the center of how they present their lives to the public and to the millions of followers who continue watching their families grow. And that's a wrap on this latest look at Whitney Bates, Lydia Bates, and Carlin Stewart's newest family uploads, and the very different ways each of them is now sharing motherhood online. From Whitney's emotional reflections as a mom of 6, to Lydia's quiet and intimate moments with Ryker and Kaia, to Carlin's polished but still heartfelt family aesthetic with Layla, Zade, and Navy, Fans definitely got 3 completely different glimpses into life inside the Bates family. So what do you think about these posts? Which upload felt the most genuine to you? And whose family content style do you think stands out the most right now? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments, because Bates family fans always have a lot to say about the small details hidden inside these uploads. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss the latest Bates family updates, relationship news, and social media breakdowns. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.